Hi, I'm Audra, and I'm going to take you through a quick demonstration of Life Skills Go. Life Skills Go is an online learning platform for social and emotional learning. And if you log into teacher.lifeskillsgo.com and log in, and you can also reset your password at the front page, you will come into your dashboard. And the first thing that you'll see is these 4 key functions. So usually if you've just started, you won't have a class created. So you need to create your class. And so you would say, for example, we're just going to call this test class and create a new class. And then you click on students to add students. And if you've already uploaded all of your students for the whole school, you'll see all of those students. Or if you want to add specific students manually, then you can just type their name and then you select which grade they're in, and then you create a student. So maybe I want some other grade 4 students. So then I'll just search for those and add a couple of more into my classroom and then update the class. And so that just gives you a quick class, and you can update their username and passwords by editing the student info and just making it possibly easier for the students to remember their password as an option. And you can also update their usernames too. This learning support function, if I toggle that on, then I will show you how that changes the weather report for the emotion check-in. And it also just helps those students get bigger font for the quiz questions to be easier to read. And also the sound button will be bigger. So if they need the voice, text to voice sound, then they can do that quickly. So it'll read the questions to them. The other things for teachers to know about is clicking on View Student Login Details just to see all the QR codes can be printed out and laminated and put on a key ring so the students can easily log in, or they can use login cards and those can be printed out and give to each student so they have their username and passwords. And also if they use that link, it will go straight in and log them into the student platform. So going back, so we started with test class, and there's a couple of key things. You want to do a lesson, but I'll get into that in a second. The first things that we suggest teachers do on a regular basis and build a habit up is to have sort of emotion check-ins. We call them weather reports for the students, and to do this on a daily basis. Say when the students come in from in the beginning in the morning to do roll call, or maybe after playground time or after lunch or right before they go home. And you can do this multiple times during the day. So Audra Smith is a learning support student. She's got a limited number of emotional options just to make it really simple for her to choose how she's feeling. And so today, maybe she's feeling a bit tired because it's Monday. And then Jacob is one of the standard students that with students that are a little bit older, they'll have more options of different variety of feelings they can choose from. So if you kind of go across to the different weather, you can kind of see how once it gets sunnier, there's a lot more happy and kind feelings. And so today, maybe he's not feeling great. Maybe he had a fight with his brother, and so he clicked angry. And then Karen's feeling a bit more calm, and Katie is feeling a bit bored. And so if you go back to the dashboard, you can kind of see across your students if you scroll down and see how they're feeling. And if you have a number of students sort of in emotional overload or not ready to learn, you can come back up here with a quick tool and use a tool for a quick weather report to prepare your students for learning. So if it's a Monday morning, perhaps, and a number of them are quite feeling tired or they're not really ready, then sitting quiet, whatever you end up choosing, then we have a video playing for the students to sort of breathe into. It's a mindfulness exercise and a quick little 2 to 3 minute video. And after they watch that, it usually calms them down quite a bit. You can check in and see how they're feeling afterwards. And that's just a really quick tool that is helpful for teachers. So that's sort of the quick weather report. Some other key things that I just kind of want to show you. I'm going to switch you into a class that has more data over time. And then, so if you look at this weather report and you kind of look across a longer period of time, which you can also do, you can see how students are feeling. You can also see, you can take notes for some. You can also see where that person had a fight with her brother, and that's why she was frustrated. And then you can also take notes on any student and write those notes just for historical context and just for your purposes. You can see across and quickly see how students were going. And for each individual student, you can kind of look and see how they were feeling throughout a term or throughout the month or throughout the week. And these are really good tool to use with parent-teacher conversations. So going back to your dashboard, which you can always get to by clicking that icon, we'll go into the digital lessons. And so if you're starting out and you have a new class, then there is no lessons applied yet. So we suggest any of these top 4 units up here, and there are 8 digital lesson units each, except for future focused learners, or sorry, building positive relationships has 9 lessons. It's usually 1 lesson a week. So the first one is identifying, communicating, and managing emotions, because we feel that that is a foundational skill that students really need to learn. And it just helps them build that skill of being able to identify and then self-regulate. Road to Resilience is about building skills around being able to persevere and overcome setbacks and challenges with greater ease. And then Future Focused Learners is a whole set of skills around allowing those students to think about issues, solve problems creatively, work in teams, communicate, and then learn all the different things they need to be thriving 21st century citizens. And then the last one that we would suggest that is really popular is building positive relationships. So it's building all those social skills of effective listening, mindful communications, negotiation, compassion, and forgiveness. So we're going to choose sort of this first unit and then click on Assign Unit and add it to the class. And so it'll have a lesson week by week. You can change those dates, and the dates are important because for students that have their own devices and they're logging in, only the lessons that are today or earlier are going to show up as enabled. Otherwise, they're going to be grayed out for the future dates. So if you want to look at the lesson content, you can click that, and it's a quick PDF that shows you the questions and answers in the quiz that helps you as if you're going to be teaching it as a teacher-led mode. If you kind of want to preview the content, you can click on preview, look at the video, look at the quiz questions, and then also just look at the game really quickly. And so as a teacher, you may want to start the lesson and hit that for the teacher-led mode. And then would be on an interactive whiteboard, and it would take probably about 30 to 45 minutes for you to get through that, talk to the students through it. You can click this teacher-led mode on, and that will pause anybody's devices that they're logged in, any of the student devices, so they have to pay attention to you. But if you want them to interact, you would turn that off. And this top thing here is allowing you as a remote control to move around the lesson, so you can skip parts or go straight to certain sections. So we always start with another weather report just to ask how everyone's feeling, because emotions change all the time throughout the day. So maybe, again, it's a Monday morning and they're kind of feeling tired.
Sitting quietly.
And then it'll just go to a quick 2 to 3 minute video to have a mindfulness moment and breathing exercise to get the kids ready to learn. And then once they are done with that, then we'll ask how they're feeling afterwards, and then go straight into the lesson. And so the lesson is usually 2 characters, usually in a school environment, playground, library, theater, and they're talking about this topic, and each topic is different for each lesson. And once the students are able to sort of listen, engage with the lesson, then they should be able to answer the questions to see if they understood the topic. So if they look at that, and if it's a student that is having a hard time reading, they could click on the
Emotions are experienced in your brain and body. Click on the picture that shows a brain and body.
They can quickly click on the correct answer, and if they get it right, they'll get a positive emoticon, and if they get it wrong, then it'll circle it red. There's also drawing questions, which you could, if for younger students that might have some hard time drawing, they may have difficult to do that. You could just use a piece of paper and they could draw on that. The kids tend to like these a lot, to be able to draw, and they would obviously read that and draw according to that scenario, and then they could play the soccer game. There's about 14 other games in the
Help these players work as a team by identifying how they are feeling.
And this is all useful. It's all to reinforce the concept that was just taught. So I won't play the game, but that just gives you an idea. And the kids really love playing the games. So it's a good, fun activity. So if you end the lesson and you go back and refresh, then you'll be able to see the progress that you've made in that classroom. And then you can go back to reporting, and then you can kind of see how you went. So I did a teacher-led mode. I got one question wrong. And then also I can see if the students log in, you can also see the drawings, and you can also assess and mark those as correct or incorrect. So that is the quick reporting. And then on the other side of the area here, you will look at a number of different resources that you can use. So if you want to plan out and understand how to use a platform to the most degrees, essentially each of them have detailed lesson plans and associated physical interactive games that you can play to reinforce those lessons. So for example, if I click into identifying, communicating, and managing emotions, we have a couple of resources here to start the term off. It's a PDF that you can print out, and the students can respond, giving their voice to understanding how they're feeling at the start of the term. We also have one for the end of the term. And then these are detailed lesson learning plans. So I just did, year 1 to 2. If I click on that, it's a very detailed guide that goes through the entire term, week by week, telling you which resources in Life Skills Go to use, how long the lessons will take, the questions to ask, the outcomes you'll be delivering. So if you do fulfill this, it will fulfill over 75% of your PDHPE, your physical education and well-being curriculum outcomes, according to Australia, New South Wales, Victoria. So it also just gives you discussion points, how to use the features in Life Skills Go, which are the lessons that you're teaching, what are the key points, what are the key questions to ask the students, and really laying out everything that hopefully you need as a teacher to effectively teach these lessons inside your classroom. And on top of that, we have, again, these are by age appropriate. So you can select either matching the lesson or all of the lessons. And so it goes week by week of identifying emotions and associating a number of physical interactive games, or just some fun activities for the students to do. And again, those are all associated with achieving an outcome in the Australian or New South Wales or Victoria curriculum. So that is extra things, and it has all of the sort of how to set up the activity and the discussion points. On top of that, there is a huge number of printable box sets. So again, a number of activities, anything that you're kind of interested in for mindfulness activities, character strengths, again, it's by year level and age appropriate. And then non-competitive games with the certain number of students that you have to have, and any props that you have to use, fundamental movement skills, warm-up games, and yoga activities. And as well, there's values posters that you can print out. And then emotion cards are really important, because this is useful for you to teach emotions to the students as they're doing the weather report and identifying emotions correctly. So if you print any of these out, you can have discussions with the kids either through posters and talking about what happens when you feel angry, when do you feel angry, and where in your body do you feel angry. And you can also use these as handheld cards for kids that are nonverbal to select how they're feeling. Say something happened in the playground and you just need to have these cards available. They can quickly pick out the card that they're feeling. So that's another resource. And all of these are videos, so brain breaks. And again, age appropriate if you want to select which tab is appropriate for your students. And then they're about 3 to 4 minute videos, as well as there's guided breathing videos, guided visualizations, mindful exercises, and relaxation stories, which are really nice. And they're a little bit longer, and they can go up to 7 to 8 minutes. And again, by age group. There's also some teacher resources for mindfulness meditation videos for teachers, and also for executives. There's full executive reporting to see across the school how is the students going, what their emotion check-ins are, and then also seeing which classes are completing. If you kind of scroll down, and you can kind of get this through setting your dates and you can see it a little bit in more detail. You can see how many of these lessons have been completed, and you can also filter it by grade level and see which grades are actually completing the weather report and lessons. So that's a quick thing. And then if you have any questions, there's always a knowledge base, which is searchable for any questions you have to do anything inside of the platform, or there's wizards that will take you through and navigate the platform, or you can always use the chat button to contact us and we will answer, if not right away, within 24 hours. And then there's also a support email at the bottom. And that is it. If you have any questions, please reach out to us on support@lifeskillsgroup.com.au. Thank you.